If you cannot get into time blocking, this is going to make a big difference. Today, as part of my time blocking series, we are making time blocking way easier by showing you a sub-method of time blocking known as time boxing. I am making this series in conjunction with Akiflow, so thank you to Akiflow for sponsoring, but you can also do this method in other apps or by hand if you choose. So Akiflow is great for all things time blocking because you can just drag and drop tasks onto your calendar and schedule them super easily. Let's see what that looks like. So I have all these things that I need to do for this week, and I could just drag them and drop them onto my calendar wherever basically and time block them out. This one will probably take longer and I want to do it in the afternoon. Maybe this one I want to do here, this one here. You get the idea. I'm just dragging and dropping them and it all plans itself out. Now, if you have a calendar full of these little 30-minute tasks or 15-minute tasks, it can get very overwhelming to look at your neatly time blocked schedule because it just looks like a lot of stuff. This is where time boxing comes in. This concept was first introduced by James Martin, the author of Rapid Application Development, which is writing for developers who work on a lot of complex projects. Essentially what this is instead of time blocking out each individual task that you will do in a given week, you set up time boxes, which are for working toward a particular task, goal, or project, working toward its completion for the entire duration of the time box. And then once that duration is up, you stop working towards that task, goal, or project, even if it is not completed. So it's setting aside time boxes in advance to make progress on your goals and not necessarily worrying about individually estimating how long each tiny little task will take. So let's change up what we have here given that understanding. I have a lot of tasks that I want to do this week that will be for writing a novel that I'm working on. So instead of putting write the opening chapter, write the main character outline, write the plot outline, I'm going to do a large time box. Let's do it in the afternoon on Thursday, let's say. I'm gonna create a large 3-hour time box. I'm gonna write work on novel, and then I'm gonna change it into a task by clicking this button, task, up here. And then boom, I can get rid of these 3 tasks. Let's move them back into my inbox so that they're off my calendar. I can get rid of those 3 tasks and just know that when I work on my novel, I'm just gonna do the next thing that I have to do when I get to that 2 p.m. on Friday moment that I have dedicated out with a time box to work on my novel. So let's do that with a couple more items. So your calendar goes from having each little itemized task on it to having these much larger, more structural ideas in place that look a lot less overwhelming. And when I look at my calendar, I can see at a glance that I am working towards specific priorities this week, namely working on my novel, working on a social media project, and doing my chores. So say you know that when you get to this do chores block on your calendar, you will have to do a few specific things. And of course, you don't want to forget what those things are. So time boxing also allows for us to open this up and write in the notes of the task, or if this is a calendar event, write in the notes of the calendar event what exactly you have to do. So I could open this task and I could write, clean the cat box, deep clean the kitchen, those kinds of things. But because this is Akiflow and Akiflow is super cool, I can also do something called creating a time slot. So that would be, instead of writing a task that says do chores, we're gonna delete that and I'm gonna create a time slot here. So when I create it, I'm gonna click slot up here in the corner and I'm gonna call this do chores. And since I know that I have those chores to do, or at least to work on during that block, I'm just gonna drag and drop the tasks related to doing chores into my do chores block. And for 4 hours, I'm gonna work on deep cleaning the kitchen, cleaning the cat box, and doing the laundry. And if I don't get any of those tasks done during that time, it's totally okay because I'm gonna go ahead and build in next week another task that says do chores, and then I can just complete what I didn't get finished during that other time box. Making sense? So let's go ahead and employ a time slot across the other priorities we're working on this week. Cool, so now in each of these individual time boxes, I have a couple of tasks that I want to get done during that time. And again, if I don't finish them, it's totally okay. I can just move those individual tasks to a future time box. One thing you'll see here on the sidebar is I still have write outline for a web page because this is a priority that I need to get done, but I don't really know what else I need to do for the web page yet. So in that case, I'm gonna create another time slot, you know me, and I'm gonna call it work on web page, make it a slot, drag this task into there, and And that task probably is not gonna take me the full 2 hours of that block, but I know that this is an additional priority during my week, and so as the week goes on, I can just keep adding tasks to this time slot. So you don't always have to know what you're gonna do going in with time boxing, which is really helpful compared to time blocking, which requires you to have something for each individual hour or minute of your day. Okay, last thing on time slots, you can also lock these to your calendar. So as you can see, Akiflow lets you integrate a number of calendars and programs into their software. You can sync your to-do lists, your Gcal, your Outlook calendars, your task managers, Asana, pretty much anything you can think of. I like to use it for all my calendars. So my work calendar is this green calendar, and then I have like an orange calendar and a purple calendar for other things. Let's say I want this do chores to appear in my personal calendar. So I'm gonna click on it. I'm gonna go ahead and click lock in calendar. And when I hover over that again, it's gonna say personal appointments, and it's gonna have this blue line down the side to indicate that it is locked to my personal appointments Gmail calendar. So if I were to open that in Gmail, I would see that I have this time box dedicated in this spot on all of the platforms that sync with my Google Calendar. So you can see it from anywhere, which is great. And then I can just approach my week with an ease of mind, knowing that I am touching in some way all of my priority projects for that week. I have set aside dedicated time on my calendar to just work through tasks that are related to that project until I reach the end point of that time block. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of how time boxing can actually reduce clutter on your calendar and help you see your projects at a bigger picture level. If any of this sounds confusing to you, Akiflow also offers one-on-one user onboarding, which is super helpful for integrating all of your tasks and calendars and learning how to do cool things like time slots, which I just showed you here in this video. If you want to check out Akiflow for yourself, please go to the link in my description box below and click on that and explore and prosper and be productive and rule the world. I'm gonna leave the rest of the series right here next to my head for your viewing pleasure. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, for being subscribed, for being awesome. I love you so much. I'll see you in the next one.